So let's take a look at how we put a site together in SharePoint that's optimized for consuming BI content on the iPad. First, we just start with a regular old team site. So the site at first has nothing that special about it, which is great because we can start with what we already know. We've created a couple of reports in this reports library here. This first report is a report built on U.S. government data that dealt with cash for clunkers trade-ins. This is built with reporting services using Report Builder. The data set is partially analysis services and partially SQL relational. And what the data is telling us is by state how many cars were traded in under the program. So we can see 76,740 cars in California, 36,835 in New York, and only 592 here in Wyoming. There's a chart on the bottom that shows us by brand what kind of car the person who traded in the program actually purchased. And we can see that Toyota was number one, Chevrolet and Ford were very close for second, along with Honda, and so on down the line. This report also has a drill through capability using a linked report. So as we click on Illinois, we'll drill through and see county by county what the trade-ins were in Illinois, and then within the state of Illinois, what brands were most popular. So nothing too special here yet, but also this format isn't that great for an iPad because we have all of this little navigation around here, which is really hard to hit with a finger, and especially breadcrumbs, things like this. To make this experience work better for the iPad, we've created a web part page that we've embedded the report in. So the user doesn't have to go to a document library and drill through. He can just click on a link on a menu up at the top, get the same report. Unfortunately, we've got some scrolling going on here, so we'll take care of that in a minute. But this looks a little bit better. Still, we have ribbons, things like this that really aren't going to work that well on an iPad anyway. So to clean this up and make the overall experience look more like what an iPad user is accustomed to, we've created a custom master page. Now, a master page in SharePoint, if you're not familiar with it, is just a template that defines the layout of things. So it defines the fonts, it defines what the navigation looks like, what the ribbons are, where they're placed, and so on. Normally, when you're working with SharePoint out of the box, you don't really know that much about master pages or use them that much. But if you want to customize the UI, you have to develop your own master page. We've done that in SharePoint Designer, and I'll just pop in here real quick and show you where that's located. So here I'm looking at the demo sites site collection where I put the master page. And if I go and look at the catalogs folder in the master page gallery, I can see that I have an iPad master page here. A master page is a lot like a .NET page if you've ever edited that kind of a thing. And if I bring this up, I'm not going to check it out, but I just want to look at it. You can see this looks like a combination of HTML tags as well as CSS and .NET tags and so on. This master page was created by taking one of the standard ones and then modifying it. So what we've done with this page, we won't go through every little detail, but we were using CSS to change the paddings and colors and sizes of things to make the master page more amenable to use with a finger rather than a mouse pointer. And we've also eliminated a lot of the stuff that's on the standard master page. And one tip with master pages is you can almost not delete anything in terms of placeholders. So as you get rid of the content and placeholders, they need to stay. But typically we'll just throw them at the bottom of the master page inside of a hidden panel. So this is probably the most complex part of this solution, but it makes the output look a heck of a lot better for the iPad. To apply this master page to the site, just a reminder, this is what this solution is going to look like for the iPad user without the custom master page. Now let's go and apply the custom master page. So I'll go to Site Settings, into Master Page under Look and Feel, and I'm just going to change the System master page. So this will be applied to most of the pages within the site. I'll choose the iPad.master. OK to save. And then as I look at this car's site here, you can see that the look and feel is a lot like an iPad. It's nice and cohesive. It fits within the 1024 by 768 standard iPad dimensions. But everything works still the same way. We didn't have to customize our reports. We did customize the web part page though to hide everything in the reporting services toolbar except for that back button. That back button will provide the iPad user a way to get in and out of the linked reports. So that's what it looks like on the desktop. Let's see what it looks like on the iPad. Within the iPad emulator, we're going to test how this site looks on an iPad device. I have a link on the desktop of the iPad, and we're going to be prompted for username and password. These are my user name and password within Active Directory. And after authenticating, we come to the site. It looks the same as it did on the desktop, and we can see it behaves just like a website. And in fact, we could interact with any part of the SharePoint site. The links get a little small, and that's why we made this custom master page so that when the user is actually dropped into the application, which would probably more be the home page for this app, we can see that the presentation is sized appropriately. The links are the right size for fingers, and we've really gotten away from the concept of using a mouse and really tuning it for fingers. So we can tap on a state, running a linked report, and look at what the auto consumption was in California, which is predominantly Toyota, Honda, Nissan, with a little bit of Ford and Chevy bringing up the rear here. Then we can use that back button with our finger and go back to the top level national map. And once we're here, tap on a state that might have a little more domestic consumption, Michigan. So that's it. That's how we build a SharePoint site using reporting services that looks and feels like an iPad. And really, we haven't used any very specific mobile skills here. We've just paid attention to the design of how we lay out master pages and lay out the reports and lay out the assets so that it makes sense and feels like an iPad application.